Hello, friends, and welcome back to Malicious Compliance Stories. Let's start our video with a story in which our OP was not believed to have a disability. Yes, employees can be awful. But before we begin, best way to support our channel is to leave comments, like, and subscribe with the turned-on bell so you don't miss the new video every single day. See for yourself. I work in adult care, which sends me all over the place, various different settings from supported living homes to nursing to domiciliary and even day centers. This one happened a few years ago, so I'll set the scene. Crappy weather with sleet and snow turning to mush rather quickly, then icing up. I get a Christmas shift to do a long day, hella good money, at a nursing home for dementia. I did overall 6 long days with one off. Now I'm disabled and have been for a long time, so doing this kind of care is very difficult for me, but I still do it. I'm on shift with the RCS team ever. Yay, 6 days, whoop. I pointed out to them my limitations and I got backlash for it. Shifts 1, 2, 3, done, same crap. When my 4th shift ended, all 13 hours of it, I walked back to my car, which is in the main car park. One of the team, I say in the loosest sense as there was not teamwork going on, grabs me, team B word, and says that I can't park in the space I've occupied because it's only for disabled people, and that I'll be reported. FYI, I have a badge. I pointed this out to her and she huffed and puffed, saying that it's only for visitors and not staff. Well, what the bloody hell am I? I'm visiting staff. This woman was having none of it. After my day off, I came back for my 5th shift. I need to point out that this space was right next to an ambulance-only spot, and it was the only disabled space there. The entire car park could hold about 15 cars. The team B word had decided that that space was out of order and had placed a cone in front of it. Doing that to any disabled space is against the law in the UK unless it had proper signage or notification, such as for it needing repainting, not to put your damn skip on it like most seem to be home to. Because of that, I stopped my car in front of the ambulance bay and called the home to say that I can't come to work as I don't have anywhere to park. The team B word must have said something to someone, and I got an earful down the phone that I had no choice but to park now the road on a hill. Remember the scene I said? I then told them I'm disabled and can't do that. Who I think was the home manager came out to me wanting proof, so I got on the phone to my agency, showed my disabled badge, ID, and got told that I'm not on shift because my first name didn't match their record. Anyone who's worked in any form of care knows that a profile is sent to your shift location, so they have your picture, name, employer. My profile matched, but the management were too stupid to even spell my name correctly. Anyway, after I showed her proof, she then moves the cone and lets me park. This whole ordeal takes about an hour. Once I'm up in my unit, Team B word decided to keep making a point that the space is only for visitors and that I must be lucky to have the privilege of such a badge of honor and park where I please. To say I nearly lumped her was an understatement. Shift ended and she has to speak to the manager about her conduct towards me, as I've already made a complaint and so did some of the nicer staff. I walk out ready to get to my car and I slip, smack straight into a car beside me, which happened to be Team B word's car, which then slid into a deep grass verge. Ended up with a broken axle, judging by the sound and the appearance of the rear wheels. I ended up with a dislocated knee and a bruised shoulder and bum. I popped myself back together and got in my car and left. Final shift and I get a written apology and I cancel any further shifts with them. The team were talking about the Team B word's car and how she had to pay through the nose to get it pulled out and towed home, and the apparent extensive repairs that are not worth the cost of the car. I'd say that was karma at work. And our second story. Store closed, but customer wants to return items. Now. We had our second lockdown, which lasted around 3 months, and during that time we were still working. Our click and collect service got a big notch up and went from around 70 orders a week to 1,000 a day. We tried different methods to make it run smoothly and in the end came up with a very effective way to make it easier for us and the customers. Instead of getting all orders down to ground level, where we had little space for storage, we opened the doors at our exit, where 1 or 2 employees would welcome the customers outside and hand out their orders, while others were scanning orders and picking up the orders to give to the 2 handling them to the customers. One day, I spotted a customer on his way into the store, while my colleague were busy talking to another customer. First, I thought that something had dropped of his order as he were walking in with a cart filled with things. I approached him and told him he couldn't enter the store as it was closed. He looked confused and asked why the others got their items if they hadn't been shopping in the store. That confused me for a second, but I told him that they got their items through our click and collect service and we handed it to them. He huffed and said he wasn't there to collect anything but return some items. This is roughly our conversation. Me, I'm sorry, but we're closed, which means you can't return anything. You have to wait until the store is allowed to open again. C, I'm here now, so why can't you just take it back and give me my money? Me, we are not allowed to do so. You're not allowed to even get into the store, so please leave. I'm sorry that we can't help you now, but once we're open again, we'll be happy to help you return your items. Until then, please be patient. C, I want to return my items now. I'm here, so what's the problem? The registers are just over there and I don't need cash. Just transfer it to my credit card. At this point, I'm sighing inwards, not really wanting to deal with this man. Fortunately, our team leader, TL, has noticed that I was talking to a customer with a cart and she came over asking what was the problem. C, I want to return my items now. TL, that's not possible right now. You have to wait until we're allowed to open the store again. C, I can't wait for that, and I'm here. I can't see what the problem is. TL, the problem is that it's not legal for us to do so right now, and we can get a fine if we gave in to your demands. So leave and wait for us to open again. C, BS, you're making this up. TL, we're not allowed to let customers into the store no matter if they're buying or returning. Please leave now or I'll have to call security. The customer huffs but turns at the threat of security coming. Outside, I hear another customer asking what the heck he was thinking, believing that the store was open for return. The annoying customer got shamed by other customers, and I and my TL didn't see any reason to stop them. I went back to work, and so did my team leader. To this day, I wonder why it was so hard to understand that we didn't provide that service under lockdown. Edit. To make it clear, we're mostly selling furniture and kitchenware. The man wanted to return a bed and a closet and a few other smaller items. Things that aren't easy to return through mail or delivery, as it would cost a small fortune for either us or the customer. Edit 2. I do not work in returns and have very little knowledge of their practice, so I could sadly not provide the man with other options, and he was too determined to get into the store that I didn't feel he would stay where he was while I found out if there were other options. Edit 3. To clarify something, we don't have any expiration date on returns. If you buy something online, you have 14 days where you can regret buying it and send it back using a Consumer Contracts Act standard cancellation form. Use our cancellation form, call the customer service, or write us an email. All of this you can find on our website, and that very easily. If you regret and want to return something after those 14 days, you'll have to get to a physical store and return it there. You can always find our opening hours on our website. Edit 4. I forgot to mention that he bought his items in-store just before lockdown as it was a Christmas gift. I really wanted to help him, but our policy was that it wasn't possible to return items during lockdown and you had to wait until we reopened unless you bought them online and was within the 14 days window or regretting your purchase. Are you opened? Read the sign. Points to close. Customer starts to say what they want. And our next story. Why trim the branches when you can cut down the whole tree? One day I came home and my mom told me the right side neighbor talked to her. Neighbor claimed a city official came over while we weren't there, stopped by her house and asked her to pass along a message. The tree on our side of the fence is too unruly and a few branches are getting too close to the neighbor's house. The city will fine us if we don't cut down those branches. So the city was going to fine us without an official notice? I was certain that the neighbor either got the warning herself or was lying for some free gardening. It was our tree, so we would have done it if they'd asked properly, but my mom and I decided to just cut it down so it didn't become an issue again. She sent me over to the neighbors, and after some pleasantries, I told her of our decision. Her expression immediately darkened. The tree is a perfect place to cover my bedroom window from the Southern California sun, and it gives me plenty of privacy. Wouldn't it be cheaper to trim it? Cue malicious compliance to the city warning. I told her with a concerned face that we're anxious about a city fine and that if we had to keep trimming it, it would be costly and a huge headache. At that point, some slight panic seeped into her voice and she offered to pay for the trimming herself. In other words, we wouldn't have to do anything, nor pay a single penny. A better man would have said yes, but at this point, I was a bitter man. I kept a concerned face and told her if I ever left, no plans to because of Mom's health, my mom would have to deal with it, and I wouldn't want her to have to keep checking in with the neighbor for fear of a fine. At the end of the day, our tree, our fine, our decision. I left shortly after. The tree came down that weekend, and so did the neighbor's blinds to her bedroom. A few years since then, and as of yet, I still haven't seen them go back up. And to think, if she'd just asked nicely, we'd still be trimming those branches at no cost to her. And our last story. I'm so disabled, I need a wheelchair 24/7. Shortly after retiring from the U.S. Army, where I served for 20-plus years as a counterintelligence agent, catching spies, I worked briefly for a friend who owned a private detective agency. One of his major clients was an insurance company, and during my time with his agency, I investigated 12 different cases of people claiming large amounts due to accidents and/or injuries. In 11 of the 12 cases, the person was legitimately hurt and they received the money they deserved. However, there was one who was not. He had claimed he had slipped and fallen on packed snow and ice in front of a supermarket and had injured his back so much that he was permanently confined to a wheelchair. He was suing the supermarket and its insurance company for a large amount of money, so I did what I did in all the cases. I followed the person around for several days to see if their complaint appeared to be valid. On the second day of my surveillance, he drove to a local gym, got out of his car, and walked inside. No wheelchair, no walker, no cane. I followed him inside the gym, pretended to be another gym member, and played 4 games of racquetball with him. He legitimately won 2 of the 4 games, and I didn't go easy on him either. The following week, there was a meeting between him, his lawyer, and the insurance company's lawyers. He was there in his wheelchair and had even brought x-rays of his injured back. When I walked in, I thought he was going to have a heart attack. It turned out that he'd lied to his lawyer and had gotten a friend who was an x-ray technician at a local hospital to borrow a set of an actual patient's x-rays and put his name on them, offering to share the insurance payout with the x-ray tech. The result? He and the x-ray tech both ended up going to jail for fraud. His original attorney quit when he found out his client had lied to him, and he had to find a different lawyer to represent him in the fraud case. And there wasn't much the new lawyer could do for his client. I happily testified at the trial. It was a miracle, but it didn't last long. Hey guys, thank you all for watching the video. I'll see you in the next one.